Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Allie.
And this is the But Have You Tried bookshelf from the David A. Howe Public Library.
Wow, that sounded so official.
Thank you. How's your summer reading program going?
You know, good.
Yeah.
Busy a lot,
You
but
seem a little
it's
run
good.
ragged.
Yeah, I'm
you're
pretty
pulling it off, but
tired.
you know what I mean.
You know, I'm still here, so that's what
Okay,
matters.
that's good. How's life in general?
Pretty good. Also kind of busy in my personal life, so that's like really bad timing.
I feel the same way.
But
Yeah.
sometimes that's just how it goes. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
I had to think, my wife she's an editor, and she had this week where like she had all these projects due at once. And so she was busy like every night. And then the next week, I had like evening meetings or commitments almost every night. So it's like our schedules have been completely flip-flopped. So that hasn't been the best.
Yeah,
But
not ideal for
I
sure.
think we're settling down. I was looking through the things that I've watched and everything, and actually I did quite well. So,
Well,
I mean,
good job.
normally I'm ahead of you in this regard, which I don't
Yeah.
know what that says about me.
Well,
But
I am writing a book, so
That's right.
That's some of my
That's
leisure
true.
time gone.
That's true. Yeah, that's going to take up some of your time.
Yeah.
Well, since you mentioned writing, can you give us an update? What's going on? Where are you?
Yes, I can give an update. So I have two projects mainly in the works right now. One is the pirate story,
Okay.
which I am drafting. I have, however, taken a little break from that to go back and do a few more edits on the boarding school mystery,
Okay.
which I was querying, which is when you try and send it out to literary agents and you're like, hey, this is my book. Do you want it?
Yeah.
You know? And I thought to myself, you know, it's just like a tiny bit on the long side, and maybe it would be more attractive if I trimmed it down a little bit.
Oh.
So I took a break from the pirates to trim it down just a little bit. My goal was to get it below 100,000 words because that's kind of like the whatever standard number. And I have succeeded in doing that, and I'm trimming out just a tiny bit extra. And then I'm going to go back to sending out a bunch of letters being like, here's what it is.
How is that process for you? Do you enjoy that? Or is it like every time you're like, but I like this part? Like, what is it?
Trimming is definitely one of my least favorite things, and I had already trimmed out about 7,000 words before this, and that was brutal. It was like scenes that I was like, well, I don't really need this scene, but I like it, you know what I mean? It like gives character context, or it's just fun or whatever. And that was brutal, and that was part of why I didn't trim it down to 100,000 words before, because I was like, I will die if I try and do this. But then I was like, all right, you know, it still seems just a little long. I'm going to try and do this. And I decided I wasn't going to cut out any scenes. I would just go through and cut out any like repetitive phrasing or like whatever, extraneous detail and stuff like that. And I've been amazed how much I've been able to trim out just doing that. And I haven't like hated myself and everything.
That's a good sign.
And I've also noticed a lot of things that needed to be trimmed out.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that I was doing this.
Yeah.
Which also, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that I went through it so many times before and didn't notice certain things, but you know.
You're hitting like two of my biggest pet peeves when I'm reading a book. Actually, my number one pet peeve is when you have characters with similar names. Like if you got a Matt and a Mark in your book, go away. That's too much. That's too much to ask me to remember. But when people repeat phrases, I read this book once and they described a character as craning their neck at least 3 times, but I want to say it was more like 7 times throughout the course of the book. And that is that phrase stands out so much.
Right.
And even we were watching a show just last night called SkyMed, and there was 2 character introductions, and both times the other character was like, my name is this, by the way. Twice they said the by the way thing, and I was like, how did no one catch that?
Yeah, that is
I was
little,
like, is one of these an ad-lib? Did
weird.
Somebody just kind of like and didn't realize it was duplicated? But I don't know. If you're watching that show, you got to cut that.
I feel like something is like we all have certain phrases or words that we tend to use.
Yeah.
And like it seems so normal, and so it can be hard to like notice those. Like we call them like weasel words.
Yeah.
And I know that one of mine is I always like include the word give when I don't need to. I'm like, gave him a smile, gave a chuckle, gave it whatever.
Right.
When it doesn't need to be there. I also noticed as I was editing this book twice, the main characters show up like just on the verge of being late to something, and one of their friends says like, oh, right on time. And it's like once early in the book and then once late in the book. And I was editing and I was like, wait, this cannot happen. That's too, we can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, just editing podcasts where I have to listen to my voice, I realize how much I say sorta or kinda or like. People might not notice that because I cut it out every time I can do it without making it sound awkward, but I do it.
So you make it seem like you don't actually do that.
Yeah, and we were both guilty of saying that's fair.
Yeah.
So
I really wanted to say it right then, but
Yeah,
I restrained
I can
myself.
see it. I can see the twitch.
Yeah, that's one I definitely know about, and I've just accepted about myself.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm
Yep.
resigned to it.
Yep. But it is a problem when I'm reading a book. Like I'm not going to give too much away. I just finished Inca Gold by Clive Cussler, and my friend Steve and I are going to do a House Things episode about that for the summer reading program because we've done 2 others. But I finished that one, and that was my number one thing. I was like, boy, if you just cut the fat on this, you know, like I think people are reading this kind of book. Steve loves it, so I'm not going to get this critical on House Things, but I want to say that if you're picking up a book like that, you're expecting kind of Indiana Jones vibes, where there's a lot more like action and puzzles, and this was a lot of chatting and going from place to place. There was just a lot of things between like major set pieces, which I felt like really bogged it down. So I think any time that weight out of the middle of a book can go away is a smart move. If you can do it without sacrificing character development,
Yeah.
things, which I'm sure you can. So
It can be hard.
yeah.
And I feel like I sometimes prioritize character stuff over like everything else,
Yeah.
which is maybe a flaw on my part, but
That can also be annoying.
yeah,
So,
it's true.
yeah.
But we all have our own
That's true.
problems.
That's true. We do. I think that's it's good to remain humble and remember such things. Well, I mentioned Inca Gold. I'm still reading that Ulysses S. Grant biography.
Oh, isn't that like a behemoth?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, I'm on like almost to 1,000 pages out of like 1,500.
Okay.
So I guess I'm like
You're doing
2/3.
pretty good.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing all right. I'm doing all right.
You're
And
plugging
this
right
is one
along.
where I have the audiobook and I have the print book.
That's
and I
smart.
keep kind of syncing them up depending on what I'm doing. Otherwise, I'd be
That makes a
half as
big
far
difference
along. Yeah,
with
for
those
sure.
with those
But what
chonkers.
about you? What are you reading?
I am reading a few things. Speaking of writing stuff, I am reading a book called Write Through It by Kate McKean.
Okay.
And this is all about like the publishing process, a little bit about writing, but I'd say mostly about the publishing process, getting agents, book deals, all of that stuff. And this is written actually by a literary agent who has a newsletter on the same topic that I've been following for like years, which is where I learned basically everything I know about how the publishing industry works. And I saw that she was writing a book kind of on the same topic,
Okay.
and I was like, that sounds great. So I got it. I've been reading it. I'm enjoying it. It's making me a little sad that I am not farther along in the process, but that's how I feel as a baseline, so that's okay,
Have you ever picked up Stephen King's On Writing?
I've thought about that a number of times, and I haven't, mostly because I haven't read any Stephen King book, and it feels weird to read his writing book without having read any of his writing, if that makes sense.
I don't think. If you want to read Stephen King, I could find one that would suit your tastes.
Okay.
Where you like
All
to
right.
avoid the horror elements.
Okay.
Like, he's got some that I think you would enjoy, but I've never read On Writing, but I know lots of people who are writers who hold that book up pretty high. So I don't know. I'd be interested to hear your take if you ever do read it.
At some point, I may just do that.
Is that? That sounds like sort of a enrichment kind of book. Do you have a
Yes.
fun book?
I do have
that you're
some fun
reading?
books going
Not
on.
that enrichment can't be fun, but
Yes. I'm also reading The Grand Tour by Patricia Reedy and Carolyn Stevermer. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast before. I feel like we might
don't think
have.
so.
This is the sequel to a book called Sorcery and Cecilia.
okay.
And it's written through letters. Like these two authors wrote letters to each other in character as like these women
Ooh.
in like Regency England,
Okay.
and there's like magic and stuff.
So the book
And-
is all letters?
yes,
Okay.
which like that can be difficult.
I
right?
don't know that I've ever read a book that was that I enjoyed. That's a tough sell.
Yeah,
for
it
me.
is. I feel like it's either it works or it doesn't, and I feel like it works. And I've been
Okay.
meaning to read this sequel for like a decade, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I finally got around to it, and I'm really enjoying it so
Okay.
far. So I was kind of scared because I was like, the sequel,
Yeah,
and they
Is
had
it
to
a
change the format a little bit.
Okay.
So
So is it a sequel that actually was written significantly later, or you just read them years
I
apart?
just read them years apart. I don't know how
Okay.
much later it
So
actually
it's not a
came out.
cash grab kind of sequel.
No, I don't think the first one was a big
Speaking
enough
of
deal
which,
for
I
it
saw
to be
Jurassic
a cash
World
grab.
Rebirth, but okay, so you liked that.
Oh, is that with Jonathan Bailey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen things about that going
Okay.
around, but I haven't seen any Jurassic anything. So
Oh, you've never seen a single?
nope.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little bit. I don't have a fondness for it. Like, I enjoy the first movie. I really like the books. I think I read the books long before I saw the movie. But I didn't watch it as a child. I watched it, when I was your age, and I just didn't have whereas my wife watched it, on the top of a Astro
Right.
van in like the 90s. So for her, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, I get it. It's it's fun. And I have seen all of them, so there must be something that's pulling me back. But
I feel like
Rebirth-
sometimes you just do that, though. It's like there's a franchise and you feel
yeah,
like you're committed to seeing them all.
Yeah.
Even when you suffer sometimes.
that's true. That's true. I am a completist in that way. And honestly, it's not like I sat there and was like, well, I hate this. When is it going to end? But it finished, and I was kind of like,
Okay.
I don't know really what the point of that was. I don't know, what character I'm supposed to be rooting for. I don't know. Like, I assume they're setting up a new trilogy. I don't see how. So it kind of washed over me, and I was like, yeah, never going to watch that again. Never going to think about it again. But
Fair enough. Well, except for this conversation.
Yeah, that's true. It was just fine. But I think it's just one of those things, like a company owns IP, and they're going to, bleed it dry, and
Yeah.
we'll
true.
see. We'll see. But is that it for books for you?
I am also still working on the Thursday Murder Club. I can't remember if we talked about that
we
last
did
time or
briefly.
not.
I think you were picking it up. Yeah.
Yep.
I love those covers. I always want to read them.
I
Do you
know.
think I should read it?
So far it's pretty good. I think
Okay.
you'd probably like it.
All right.
But I mean, I'm not that far in, so
Okay.
who knows?
I've been trying to get in the zone because both Superman and Fantastic Four are coming out this month, and as much as I love Superman, this movie is just not exciting me. I don't know why. I'm just kind of like, okay.
See, that's so
see it.
funny because I feel like every person I know who's like into superheroes is like freaking out about this movie. So I'm puzzled
Yeah.
that you're just whatever about
I
it.
guess I'm not really a James Gunn fan. I don't. I think if it was somebody different behind it, my expectations would be in a different place. And maybe that's unfair. And I'm going to go see it, and I'm fully prepared and hoping to love it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm going to find things to not like about this. Like, I want to like it. So, but all that to say, I've been reading some Fantastic Four and Superman graphic novels. So I read Clobbering Time by Steve Scrace, and this is it's really The Thing teaming up with a different character every time. It's very stylized. It's very internally consistent, but I didn't particularly enjoy it. So that happens. And then I read one that just came out called Superman's Good Guy Gang, and it is this is like a junior graphic novel, and it has the characters from the movie. So it's Superman, it's Hawkgirl, it's Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, and then a little Mr. Terrific tease probably coming up in the sequel. It was fine, also very stylized, definitely geared towards kids. The thing that I couldn't get over, and if you've seen this cover, I don't think we have it. I don't think our copy's here yet, but like the characters are all supposed to be like 8 years old.
Oh.
And they don't look it, for one. I mean, and they don't really act like it, but they talk about it a lot. And I just thought,
That's weird.
yeah, it's really weird to... You never see them like they're in school and they have to run out and turn into Green Lantern or whatever. It's nothing like that. They're just in costume the whole time and acting like... I don't know. That to me really took me out of it because I was like, why? It doesn't add to the plot. It's already a pretty just like bright, colorful, they're teaming up and fighting bad guys kind of thing. So to add that, and we're 8.
But
I don't
without
know.
them looking or acting 8. Like that is...
They act
That's
goofy.
weird.
They act goofy, but if you've ever read anything by like Art Baltazar, Franco, they have a lot of graphic novels and things. It feels in that vein, and I guess you could say those are like kid characters, but there's nothing baked into it that says they have to be kids. And I don't think a kid like my son, who's 11, I don't think he would be like, wow, they're young. That's so cool. I think it would
Right.
just be like, what? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, I read it. I didn't hate it, but I also was puzzled by it. So, that's it for me. Graphic novels. Have you picked up any new webtoons since the conclusion of some of your
I
favorites?
Have not.
I gotta stop asking you. I set myself up for failure.
You know?
You know?
Well, it's a depressing time
Yeah.
over here in the webtoon
Yeah.
desert. I feel like I've forgotten how to find new ones because
Yeah.
it's been so long that I've been like following the same ones.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, how do I'm scared. I don't want to branch out.
I just started one. I can't remember what it's called. I'll tell you next time. But
Sounds
it's about a
good.
guy who he gets hired to like fix up an old family estate, and it's haunted by ghosts. And that's it. And I think
Okay.
all the ghosts kind of have a crush on him.
That's
so
kinda
it's sort
fun.
of like a rom-com thing. I don't know. It's
Okay.
fun. I like it. It's
Yeah.
goofy. What about books? No, we talked about books. Movies. Tell me movies.
Okay. Well, I mean, I did watch some Karate Kid movies, but we already discussed
recall.
that in detail.
Did you do any more? Did you
No,
what?
but I intend to.
Okay.
I just kind of haven't had time,
Understood.
which is sad, but you
Okay.
know. But I did also watch Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves again. I want to say this is like
I think
the 4th
one more
time.
punch and you get a free frozen yogurt. How
That
many
sounds
times?
about right. That sounds
Have you
about
watched
right.
this?
I think this might be like the 4th time.
Okay, that's not insane.
Yeah. There could be a time that I'm forgetting. It's
I guess
possible.
I felt
but
like that movie was kind of mid.
I think it's good. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's bad. I guess I finished it and was kind of like, I wanted more.
I guess I feel like the performances are just really good, and
yeah.
the I don't know, like Edgin, his whole like humorous scoundrel thing is just really fun
Is
to
that
me.
Chris Pine?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
he's great in it.
So yeah.
Hugh Grant, also great in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, again. So, and I mean the guy from what's his name? The guy from Bridgerton, just being this like
Oh, right.
perfect paladin boy, is also pretty comical
Yeah.
and great to me. So
Yeah. Oh, Michelle Rodriguez is always fun to watch, like back from the Lost Days or Fast and Furious, of course, probably how she's best known now. But it's interesting to see her do a different performance because she's been doing Fast and Furious for so long at this point.
yeah, that's fair.
But okay, Honor Among Thieves. All right, I'll allow
Yep.
that.
So that's pretty much it for movies, I'm afraid.
I also did some rewatching. We rewatched over the last couple of months, really. We watched the Back to the Future trilogy, which my son had never seen, and which is my all-time favorite. Like, if I had to pick favorite franchise, it would be Back to the Future. Above
They're really
Star
good.
Trek, anything else, Yeah, and it totally holds up. I don't know. It's just so tightly plotted, and it's pretty amazing when you think about one was shot to just be a one-and-done standalone, and they built 2 and 3 together like years later is
Yeah.
wild to me because there's so many callbacks, there's so many like little blink and you miss it things that they don't pay off, they don't add to the plot. It's just if you see little connections, it just it's like every time I watch it I'm like, oh right, that's a callback to the 50s or to the whatever. And I think it's such an interesting and bold choice to make 3 a Western. I mean, it's just a completely different everything. So wild move, but I think a third one in the 50s again or whatever, it just wouldn't.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It does feel like they needed to do something different.
Like, I think they really push the edge of overplaying the 50s when you have both Martys in the 50s, but they play it to perfection. But I feel like any more and it would have been like this again, so I think it really rides the line exactly right. So it's just satisfying. So I got no complaints about the Back to the Future trilogy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and I'm sad that you have watched it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy for you as a person, but I'm
Right,
sad that we
right,
can't
right.
do an episode. That's all right.
I mean, at some point we could just for funsies. We
You know
made
what
up
should
the
do?
rules for this podcast.
Corey, who made our music, she's always like, I want to be on the podcast. Maybe sometime, because I doubt she's seen Back to the Future. Come on. Do you think she has?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe I'd be surprised.
All right. I also watched Elio, the Pixar Elio. I don't remember if we talked about this.
I don't
but
know if we
I did
did.
watch it.
I feel like I haven't heard anything about this movie.
I think it's maybe their biggest flop ever.
Okay. That might be why I haven't heard anything.
And it's very simple. It's just the kid wants to be an alien. He wants to be abducted by aliens. He wants to live in space, and that happens, and then he sort of gets embroiled into whatever shenanigans and drama. And there's I don't know if they were going for something profound, because it seems like often they do. I don't think so. I think this was just a little kid sci-fi movie kind of thing, which is fun. I mean, I liked it. It's one that I'm not gonna you must watch it or want to watch it again. But it's a very pleasant 90 minutes, and there was a cool Star Trek Easter egg in there where they were talking about the Voyager probe, and they have Kate Mulgrew, who played Captain Janeway in Star Trek Voyager, narrate it. And there was a few little, she says intrepid crew, and Voyager is an intrepid class ship. I'm getting nerdy. I feel that now.
It's
but
okay.
I enjoyed the little, the deep cuts there, because it made me think, okay, these are real sci-fi fans. But yeah, worth it. And then I watched another sci-fi called Slingshot, and this is Lawrence Fishburne and Casey Affleck, and they are on a long distance, I think it's Jupiter. They're trying to find one of the moons of Jupiter, or they're slingshotting around Jupiter. It doesn't matter. It's a long space flight.
Okay.
And the meds they are taking to get them through the stasis periods are starting to make them a little unhinged.
Oh.
And you start to not know what's real and who to trust and where it's going to go. And it's definitely one that every step of the way you were like, wait, did that happen? Who did that?
Oh my
You know what I mean?
gosh.
So it's kind of a stressful movie, but it was one that finished, and my wife and I were both like, yeah, all right, you did it. So I'd recommend it. I thought it was good.
I feel like I simultaneously love and hate movies like that, where it's like you start questioning yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's so cool, but it's also so stressful.
Yeah, the way like reality was kind of unraveling for the characters was one that, like that night going to bed, I felt unsettled, like borderline creeped out about it because of the way they did it, which I think means it's a success,
right?
But there is also sort of that lingering like
right.
feeling. So, but yeah, I would recommend it. I thought it was pretty good. Oh, you know what I didn't mention, and this is reminding me because it's a similar plot, but I read a book called To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. And this is a sci-fi story about a group of astronauts going to a far planet. And the thing here is they have figured out how to, rather than terraforming the planets, they have figured out how to alter their bodies to exist in these other places.
Interesting.
And so you see it at several different stages, and it becomes kind of... I did it. I said kind of. See? And I'm not going to cut it out so people will know that it's real.
It's true. It happens.
But it becomes this situation where they no longer fit with Earth because their bodies are changing.
Right.
But they also don't really fit with where they're going because they are human beings. They're of Earth. And so it's more of an existential sort of thing. And because of that, I felt a little meh about it because I wanted a story, and it was more... an exploration of these characters and the effects this is having on these characters.
Okay.
It was not a point A to point B kind of story, which is what I thought and what I wanted. So that's on me.
Oops.
But the writing was solid. So, I wouldn't be opposed to checking out this author again.
It does sound interesting.
Yeah. TV, how we doing?
Still going with the same old Good Place and Andor.
And Andor, how are we feeling?
I don't know if we talked about this on mic because I know we talked about it off mic, but...
Yeah.
A character that I really like died, and so now I'm kind of over it.
That's
so
hard.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if it can.
Okay, well, I am curious
back
to
for
see
me.
what you think at the end.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where we end up at the end.
There's a lot of curiosity
Just like where it's
here
going,
today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I started a show called School Spirits. Have you heard of this?
Is this like there's a girl who dies and her spirit's haunting? Okay, I've definitely seen.
That's
like...
right. It's Peyton List from Cobra Kai, which I don't think you got far enough into Cobra Kai to see this character. She plays Tori.
Okay.
But it is definitely up your alley because, hey, that's your name.
That is my name.
Because, yeah, she dies and then she's a ghost at the school. She has to figure out who murdered her. And, like, all her friends are around and can't see her. And there's also, like, other ghosts who have been there for a while. And they're like, you need to let it go. And she's like, no, I'm going to solve my murder.
That does sound fun.
I think it's a book you would read. Who knows if you'd like the show.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. And then my son and I have been watching a show that we just got here on DVD actually called Mecha Builders. And it is a Muppet. Well, it's something like Sesame Street. But they have to, like, go and solve problems. And it's the kind of kid show that is, like, funny for adults. So, like, we're watching it.
That's
and
fun.
I'm cracking up, So we've been doing that for a while. And that's fun. And you can check it out right here at the good old David A. Howe Public Library. What about other things in your life? You're playing video games, you're going on trips. I see a note here that I don't understand, so I'm going to need you to explain what I'm looking at.
So Caleb and I have taken up beaver stalking.
Okay.
By accident.
By accident.
How this happens is we often like to go to the river in the summer in the evenings and like cool down and splash around and look at crayfish. Mostly look at crayfish.
Okay.
And we're like, if only we could take you home, but we already have too many crayfish at home kind of situation. And
this sounds like a plot from These Happy Golden Years, or the first 4 years by Laura Ingalls Wilder, but okay.
We were there a week or so ago, and we heard a splash, and I turned around, and we see this little guy swimming in the water.
Okay.
And at first we thought he was like a muskrat, but we were like, that's a big muskrat.
Yeah.
And then we see him swim over to this like stick contraption. I wouldn't call it a dam, but like a little shack.
Okay.
And like dive down into the water and disappear. And we're like, it's a beaver. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And so we were watching him for a while, and then we lose track of him, and we think we see him coming the other way, and then we look down the river, and another beaver is coming, and they're both like hauling sticks.
Okay.
Back to this dam. Well, again, dam is a stretch, but I don't want to criticize their architecture here.
All right.
But and then we just like sat there and watched for like, I don't know, half an hour while the one beaver is just like chomping on this like stick, and we just like see the leaves wiggling around. And so we went back another time. We saw them again. We tried to get some pictures. I don't think we've looked at them yet to see if they turned out. We saw the beaver carrying a big stick up the river again. And so this is just like our newest hobby, I guess. It's just like going and observing these beavers.
That is delightfully wholesome of the two of you.
It's just, I mean, how can you not want to just watch a beaver chomping his stick?
I don't know. It sounds like a good time all around. We have something similar. I don't know what it is. It's not a beaver, but I don't know if it's like a woodchuck or a groundhog. I don't know if those are different. It's a groundhog. My wife has just confirmed it's a groundhog.
Okay.
And so
Live updates.
Yeah, he shows up. It's true. He shows up in our yard, and we watch him. And to tie it into another part of our conversation, guess what his name is? Jarnathan.
Oh my gosh.
So he'll show up, and one of us will be like, Jarnathan!
That's incredible.
That's from Honor Among Thieves, everybody.
Yeah.
So we are on a constant Jarnathan watch, and he's getting very bold and coming right up. I saw him on our porch one time. He has no fear, Jarnathan.
Well, it's because he knows that you're his friend, and you gave him a nice name.
That's true.
Now he has nothing to fear.
Yeah, he feels our love.
We used to have, like when I was growing up, I don't know if they were woodchucks or groundhogs that would dug down so they could get under our porch, and they would hang out in there. And we had cats, and we were always like, okay, guys, like, are you going to scare off these guys who are, whatever, eating our garden?
Yeah.
No. They would go sit under the porch with the groundhogs.
Just hang out.
It's like raining, and the cats and the groundhogs are just all under the porch together, just chilling.
And the cats and the groundhogs.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Different. Wow. Okay. You know what? I recently started playing a video game called Sonic Origins. I was a big Sega Genesis kid in the 90s. This was pre you. You weren't around. But Sega Genesis came on the scene, and Sonic the Hedgehog and his bad attitude. You compare Sonic the Hedgehog and his bright red shoes and his impatient expression when you take too long to Mario hanging around with mushrooms and going in pipes in his overalls. Sonic was just much cooler. And Sonic Origins is all of the classic Sonic games a little bit restored, or graphics improved just slightly so it runs on higher systems. But there was an expansion pack that includes all the Game Gear games. Stay with me.
Okay.
Game Gear was Sega's answer to the Game Boy. It was an extra wide. It kind of looked like a Switch. It was that kind of thing. You held it like that. Only it was chunky, and it took 6 AA batteries, and those would last about 15 minutes. It was in color. It was 16-bit versus regular Nintendo, which was 8-bit. And I loved it. And I had one. I had Lion King. I had Sonic. I played it all the time. They are now impossible to find because they didn't make them very long. They flopped.
Right.
But Sonic Origins has this expansion that includes all of the Sonic Game Gear games. And it was so nostalgic to play those again. So have you ever played a Sonic game?
No.
I don't think it would be your speed. Literally. I think he's moving really fast. That's the whole thing. And you tend to not like that kind of game. Am I right?
It's just that I get nauseous when I try and navigate.
Yes,
so.
I think definitely in the bonus levels where you're trying to turn all the blue balls red. You have to run through, and if you hit a red ball, you're out. But it's on a sphere, and so it pivots every time you move. Yeah, you'd be throwing up. You'd be throwing up all over the place.
I couldn't do it.
And you never once plant a carrot. And I know that's more your video game
that's true.
kind of style, but I'm having a good time with Sonic Origins. Then the only other thing going on is our niece just graduated high school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Does that make you feel really old?
It does make me feel old because my sister-in-law was pregnant when my wife and I got married. So Abby's just been there the whole time, And she just graduated. She was valedictorian. She's going on to college. So we were very proud of her. And we went to the graduation. We just had her open house. She was just here checking out manga right here in the David A. Howe Public Library. So
a celebrity has
congratulations.
visited us. Congrats.
So that's been fun.
That is cool.
Fun. Yep. The first of that generation to
right.
move on.
Yeah.
Which is,
it's a weird feeling.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
My brother just turned 19, and I realized I was 19 when Caleb and I started dating, and now we're married.
Hillary was 19 when she and I started dating.
Yeah. So
that's the time.
that was a weird realization for me. And not that I'm necessarily all right, you got to find your spouse within the next year.
He's got a couple
But it was just a weird wait, I don't know. Yeah. That's a lot closer than it feels like it should be, I guess.
Yeah.
So
it is. This is old man territory, but it's funny how much of an adult I felt when I was 18 or 19, and then I see 18 or 19 now, and I'm kind of you don't even know. You got
Yeah,
so much.
I kind of feel
you know?
like the older I'm getting, the less I'm feeling like an adult. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to work, but
It sounds to me like you just have a happy, pleasant life.
Well,
so I think you should just lean in and
okay.
embrace that.
I'll just accept
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's it. I think we covered all the goings on.
I think we did.
It's by the time this comes out, yard sale weekend will have passed. But are you going to hit up any of these yard sales?
Maybe. I've kind of been thinking about it. I was driving around last night and I saw a number of like tents and like tarps and stuff, and I was like, wait.
Just getting to work
maybe
today,
I
I
need
feel like
to-
I passed like 5. So
I always mean to do that stuff, and then I kind of lose track of when it's coming, and then I'm like,
it
shoot.
always sounds more fun than it actually is
Yeah,
in my mind.
That's
you know?
fair.
So especially when it's like a long driveway and you walk up there and you realize that there's nothing you're interested in, but people are sitting in lawn chairs, so you have to
Right.
kind of walk through.
Walk
and be
around
like,
and be like,
Yeah,
I'm really
you know
considering
what?
this.
I could use a doily, I think. You know what I mean? That table needs some sprucing up.
Yeah, that's true for
So
sure.
it remains to be seen whether or not I will be out there yard sailing, but I appreciate all the work community-wise that goes into
Yes.
making those happen. The 19th, July 19th, 2025, is the start of the book sale.
Yes.
So that's fun. The street fair, the balloon rally, it's a big time for Wellsville.
It really is.
We will have already marched
It's
to the
our
parade
heyday.
by the time this comes
It's
out.
true.
So probably sweat it off a couple of pounds while we're
Yeah,
in
probably.
the back of that truck chucking candy at adoring fans. But it should be a good time all around. It's the summer.
It is the summer.
And I don't know. Can I say that something's pissing me off? Do you think I can say
think
that
that-
word? Okay.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
this
We're
heat's
gonna
pissing
say
me
yes.
off a little bit.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Yeah,
It's too much.
It is too much. It's like, I don't know. I came in this morning and I was like standing at the front desk, just like moving paper around,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
And I started sweating while doing that.
Yeah.
And I was like, this isn't a sweating activity.
Right.
This
I love if I'm sitting in a chair and I stand up and I feel my shirt is just plastered to my back. I'm like, yeah, this is
yeah.
Great.
Or like if you're wearing
Great.
shorts and your leg just like sticks to the
yeah.
that
Yeah.
happens all the time and I
That's
don't
no
like
good.
it.
No, that's
and you
not
hear that like
pleasant.
sectiony sound.
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, you know you're going to have problems. I have terrible skin for the sun, so I need to remember to put stuff on for the parade because if not,
yeah.
I get this little like sun poisoning like rashes on my arms and things.
Is
if
it
I'm
just
in the
like
sun too
sunscreen that you
much.
need to put on, or is it like something?
No, I think
specific?
sunscreen
Okay.
usually does it.
I
Yeah.
usually bring sunscreen with me to things like this, so if you don't remember, I might have some.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good. I'm glad
I've
to know.
become that person, and I've
yeah,
accepted
good. Well, we
it.
all need it. We all need it in our life, so that's great. I have not started cross stitch, which was our magic wild card pick.
Yes.
I know the pieces have come in. I watched you do it a little bit to try to understand. You gave me some pointers. I'm going to make Kate Elliott, who's on staff here, sit down and show me how to do it. And then I'm going to knock that snail right out. And in 2 weeks, we can compare and talk about it.
I believe in us.
Okay.
I think we can do it.
All right. Well, happy summer reading program to you.
Happy summer reading program to you.
All right. See you next time, everybody.